All right, so today we're diving into something pretty mind-blowing, something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. We're talking AI that can actually see, and I mean really see.
The big deal, yeah.
We've got all the info on Meta's Llama 3.2 right here. So let's unpack this because this isn't just some software update, right? This is a whole different ball game.
It really is. We're talking about AI that can process images alongside text. That's the game changer here.
Yeah.
Think about how much more we understand when we actually see something rather than just hearing about it.
Right, exactly. It's like you can tell me about a beautiful sunset, but until I see it.
Exactly. A picture's worth 1,000 words.
1,000 words, exactly. And that's what Llama 3.2 is doing. It's seeing those 1,000 words in an image. So we're not just feeding this AI text anymore. We're talking charts, graphs, photos, even my cat photos, probably.
Probably, yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Like the things I noticed in the articles is that they mentioned different sizes of this llama. What's that all about? Is it like a whole AI family?
That's a good way to think about it. And
Mm-hmm.
see, Llama 3.2 comes in different parameter levels, each one fine-tuned for different tasks. It's kind of like, imagine you need to lift something heavy, right?
Mm.
You wouldn't use a tiny little teacup.
You'd need a crane.
Exactly, a crane. So you've got the smaller 1B and 3B Llama versions. Those are like your quick, efficient tools, great for things you do on your phone, like summarizing some text or giving you quick instruction.
Okay, so that's like AI in my pocket,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly, running right on your phone.
That's pretty impressive. And a little unnerving, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Those aren't the only sizes, right?
Oh, no, they're the big ones, too. The 11B and the 90B models, those are the heavy lifters, the ones running on powerful servers. They can handle the really complex stuff, like the image processing we're talking about.
So those are the cranes of the AI world.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What can Llama 3.2 actually do with these images? Give me the wow factor.
Well, imagine this. You're on vacation, taking a photo of, I don't know, the Eiffel Tower, and boom, Llama 3.2 instantly generates the perfect caption for you.
Okay, that's pretty cool, I'll admit. But it's more than just captions, right?
Oh, yeah, much more.
I read something about visual grounding. What is that?
That's where things get really interesting. Visual grounding means the AI can actually pinpoint what you're talking about in an image based on your description. So let's say you're telling a self-driving car.
Okay, here comes the future.
You tell the car, turn left of the store with the green awning. Visual grounding is what allows the car to understand exactly which store you're talking about, just by looking at the street.
So we're talking about AI that understands context, not just identifies objects.
Exactly. It's like it's actually understanding what it's seeing, just like we do.
All right, that's officially blown my mind. We've gone from zero to sci-fi in like 5 minutes. But this is all thanks to this new llama, right?
Llama 3.2 is a major step for sure. This whole thing, this ability to understand both text and images, it's called multimodal AI, and it has the potential to completely change everything.
Yeah. Change everything. Wow. Okay, so before we get too far into the future, I want to back up a bit because you mentioned earlier that those smaller llama models, they can run right on our phones, right?
That's right.
And that seems like a big deal for privacy.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things Meta was really pushing in their materials,
Yeah.
the privacy aspect. With these smaller models, a lot of the AI processing can actually happen locally on your phone
Yeah.
rather than sending your data up to some massive data center.
So my info isn't being beamed up to the cloud and analyzed. It's all happening right here.
Exactly.
Okay, that actually makes me feel a little better about this whole AI thing, I have to admit. But what kinds of things could these smaller models actually do on my phone? Like, what's the practical stuff?
Think real-time translation as you're looking at, say, a menu in a foreign country. You just point your phone at it, and boom, you instantly know what you're ordering. Or imagine having your phone summarize a long, complicated document for you in seconds.
Okay, that's some next level convenience right there. So my phone is about to get a whole lot smarter. But what about the people who build this stuff, the developers? This all sounds super complicated. How easy is it to actually use this llama technology?
Well, Meta thought of that, too. They've released something called Llama Stack, which is basically a toolkit for developers who want to build applications using this technology.
A toolkit, is that like a set of instructions or something?
It's more than just instructions. It's like, imagine giving developers pre-built Lego blocks for AI. These components, they're designed to be easily assembled and customized no matter what you're building.
So whether you're building a simple app or some crazy complex system.
Exactly. It can be used for almost anything.
So Theoretically, I could build the next big AI app.
Well, maybe not you, but you get the idea. It's about making this technology more accessible, giving more people the chance to be creative with AI.
Okay, that's seriously impressive. But we've mostly focused on these smaller llama models. What about the big guys, the 11B and 90B ones? What are those capable of?
Those are the ones tackling the really big challenges, the kind that need a lot of computational power. Think advanced image recognition. And I'm not just talking about identifying objects in an image. We're talking about actually understanding the context, the meaning behind what's in the image.
Just like actual intelligence.
You could say that, yeah. In fact, the 90B model,
Hmm.
it's consistently beating out some of the other big players in the field in these image reasoning tests. Like, it's outperforming Google's XYZ AI, and that's a big deal.
So it's not just powerful, it's actually showing a deeper understanding of what it's seeing.
Exactly. And this is where things get really exciting, because this level of visual understanding has huge implications for fields like healthcare, for example.
Healthcare, okay.
Yeah, imagine doctors having access to AI that can analyze medical images with this level of detail and accuracy. We're talking about diagnosing diseases earlier, potentially saving lives.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. This is big.
It is big, and the most important thing to remember is that this is still early days.
Mhm.
We're just scratching the surface of what this technology can do.
This is just the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah. And as this technology continues to evolve, we're going to see even bigger breakthroughs. I mean, imagine the impact on manufacturing, on education, on entertainment even.
All right, deep divers, I think we need a minute to process all of this. We're going to take a quick pause here, but stick with us. When we come back, we're diving even deeper into the potential impact of Llama 3.2. Okay, so we've established that Llama 3.2 is a pretty big deal. And it's not just about, making our lives a little easier. We're talking about AI that's starting to understand the world visually, just like we do. But one of the things that really struck me in these articles was how this technology could actually impact our everyday lives, like pretty soon.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about, self-driving cars in the distant future.
Right, exactly.
Think about something as simple as, let's say you're traveling in a foreign country. You're trying to read a menu.
Happens to the best of us.
Right. With Llama 3.2, your phone could potentially translate that menu in real time just by pointing the camera at it. Or how many times have you had to, skim through a really long, dense report?
Too many times.
Llama 3.2 could summarize those key findings for you instantly, save you a ton of time and effort.
Okay, now those are some tangible benefits that I think everyone can get behind. But the articles also touched on some pretty big implications for this technology. One that really stood out to me was the potential impact on fields like healthcare and manufacturing.
Right, right. Those are big ones.
You-
Yeah, I mean, let's start with healthcare. Imagine a world where doctors can diagnose diseases earlier and more accurately because they have AI analyzing medical images with this incredible precision.
We're talking about potentially saving lives here.
Exactly, catching things that might have been missed before, and then in manufacturing.
Yeah, what about that?
Think about AI-powered robots working alongside humans, not just doing, repetitive tasks, but actually understanding complex instructions, adapting to new situations in real time.
So these factories would be safer, more efficient.
Exactly. And it could even lead to entirely new ways of making things. We're not just talking about, making our lives a little easier here. We're talking about transforming industries in a way that could benefit everyone.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it. And the thing is, Llama 3.2, it's not some kind of proprietary technology that's locked away, right? We talked about Llama Stack earlier, that toolkit for developers.
Right, the Lego blocks.
Yeah, exactly. Meta has made this technology incredibly accessible, which means we could be seeing a whole wave of creative, innovative applications popping up.
Oh, absolutely. This could be huge. And it won't just be big tech companies driving this innovation.
Right.
There'll be startups, researchers, even individual developers, all with the tools to create amazing things.
That's what's so exciting about this moment in AI, right?
It really is.
It feels like anything is possible.
And it's important to remember that we're still in the early stages.
Yeah.
What we've seen with Llama 3.2, this is just a glimpse of what might be possible in the years to come.
It's a little thrilling, right? And maybe a little bit terrifying, too, if we're being honest.
A little bit of both.
But this isn't some distant future we're talking about. This is happening now.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to be having these conversations, to really be thinking about the potential benefits and challenges of this technology.
Because the decisions we make today, they're going to shape the future of AI.
Exactly. How it impacts our world.
You've definitely given us a lot to think about. But before we wrap up this part, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about the ethical considerations here. That seems especially important given, just how powerful this technology could become.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't just ignore those questions. We have to be having open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of AI, and that includes Llama 3.2. As this technology evolves and becomes more powerful and more integrated into our lives,
Right, it's not going away.
we need to be thoughtful
Hmm.
about how we use it, what kind of safeguards we need to put in place.
Yeah, those are important questions and ones that, we'll definitely have to explore further in future deep dives. So we've covered a ton of ground on Llama 3.2. It's a lot to take in,
It
right?
really is.
But before we wrap up, I kind of want to bring it back to, well, you, the listener.
It's easy to get caught up in the technical stuff, but it's important to ask, what does this actually mean for me?
Exactly. Like, let's say you're, not a developer, not a tech whiz. How could this actually affect your life in the next couple of years?
Well, imagine having a superpowered sidekick right there on your phone. Picture this.
Yeah.
You're on vacation, trying to decipher a menu in a language you don't understand. You could just point your phone at it and get an instant translation. No more awkward miming or relying on dodgy phrase books.
Okay, I can see that being pretty useful.
Right. Or remember that giant stack of documents you've been putting off reading?
Oh, don't remind me.
Your phone could summarize all the key points for you in seconds.
Okay, now you're talking. But beyond those everyday things, what about the bigger picture? We talked about the potential impact on healthcare, manufacturing. Those felt huge.
They're huge. In healthcare, imagine doctors having this AI tool that can analyze medical images with incredible accuracy. We're talking about diagnosing diseases way earlier, potentially even saving lives.
That's a game changer. What about manufacturing?
Think about factories where robots and humans work side by side. But these robots, they're not just doing simple tasks. They're understanding complex instructions, adapting to new situations.
So they're learning as they go.
In a way, yes. And it means these factories can be safer, way more efficient, and we could even see entirely new ways of manufacturing products.
When I'm talking about AI pushing the boundaries of what's possible, it's exciting, but also a little intimidating, don't you think?
It's both, for sure, but it's happening. And I think the most important thing to remember here is that the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's up to all of us to shape how this technology is developed, how it's used, what safeguards are put in place.
That's a good point. It's not about, AI taking over. It's about us figuring out how to use it responsibly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want listeners to take away from all of this?
Stay curious, stay informed, and don't be afraid to ask questions. This field is changing so rapidly, and Llama 3.2 is a perfect example of that. The more we understand about this technology, the better equipped we'll be to navigate whatever comes next.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder all the possibilities. This is The Deep Dive, signing off until next time. Keep exploring.